Hello there, my name's Aaron. You might recognise me from the GNZ football at Ellows every week, and also you might have seen me around at church on a Sunday at Springs if you've been there before. I've just been asked to make a short video on what my life was like growing up and making a decision to follow Jesus and what that meant for me and how that influenced who I am today. So a little bit of background of me growing up. I lived in a big city, Bristol, right near the middle, so it was quite busy all the while. Part of a family who didn't know Jesus, who didn't know religion at all, who didn't really want to know. So that's who I was. As far as I knew, it was, you just live your life and that was it. And my mum and dad just adopted the philosophy of good things happen to good people, and if you live right, everything's fine, and that's what I did. As a family, we were well off, and I was happy. I was part of a football academy at a professional football team, and my number one plan, my dream, I suppose, was to become a footballer as a job, and that was coming true, and everything was great, and good things were happening to good people, until one day on a training session, I got injured badly. 3 breaks of my left leg and 2 of my right, which meant I was hospitalised for a while. I had a few operations to fix the damage and 3 months in a wheelchair, and then a year's worth of recovery physio later. That was it, which kind of made me think about the good things happen to good people philosophy that my family had taught me, and whether it was the be all and end all. My number one plan, my dream, being a footballer as a job, kind of had to go. I had to make a plan B, and that involved going to college after I finished school, which is where I met 2 of my good friends who I still speak to today. I got to know them, and then after about 2 or 3 weeks of being in college with them, they invited me to a youth club that they help run in a school, in a sports hall, doing basketball and table tennis, and I was still into different sports, so they said I'd quite like it, and they were right. I liked it, and I went along, and it was good fun. And after the 2nd or 3rd week, we were just speaking to each other, and the conversation came around to, hey, we have a church here on a Sunday as well as the youth club on a Friday. Do you think you'd want to come to that? You'd want to see what that's about? And I had to think about it, and I decided that I'll go along. I'll see what it's about. I'll go. So I went to check it out, and it was different. It was not what I thought it would be like, and I decided that I needed to go again, and then a 3rd time, and then on the 3rd time, at the end, I was one of those people who put their hand up after the acceptance prayer and said, yeah, I'd like to have a fresh start, to start a journey, to begin my walk, find out who Jesus really is. So after the service, the youth pastor came up to me and said, I saw you put your hand up at the end there. I just come to give you a pray with you, and to give you this New Testament. The New Testament will help you understand who you just said yes to, Jesus, and who he was and what he stands for. So after he prayed for me, I thanked him, and I said I'll see you on Friday at the youth club. So I went away and I read the New Testament, and I read John. It's a story about Jesus when he was on earth, and who he was and what he stood for and how he impacted so many people. It made me understand who he was more and who I did say yes to, and he was a good person doing good things, which is, identified with that from all those years ago. So after that, I got more involved in the youth club, and I ended up helping to lead the youth club. By the time I left Bristol, I was doing a lot of things with the church. I left Bristol to get married to my wife, who lived in Dudley at the time, and it was easy for me to move, so I did. I came up here, and I really felt that I needed to still be in church, and I needed to find the right church for me. So that was my story. So yeah, it was quite brief, but it went from a training session when I was 13, a big disappointment, which meant that I had to go to college, which in turn meant that I got invited to church and accepted Jesus when I was 17, moving to Dudley and being part of Springs and GNZ Youth. Well, one last thing to say is I hope that we get to meet together real soon. Once things go back to normal, we can go allowed back into the school and to meet again on the AstroTurf and get back to having some fun. So until then, that's bye for now.